friends, welcome to my channel. This is my very first knitting podcast. My name is Neary and I have a knitting Instagram, but wanted to try my hand at doing some longer format content. So I'm going to follow the very standard recipe for knitting podcasts, which is doing finished objects first and then doing new cast-ons and then yarn acquisitions. So I have two finished objects to show you guys. The first one I finished in late December. It's Cardigan number 7 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This is what it looks like. It is a raglan construction cardigan with 1x1 ribbing and I think just like slight balloon sleeves. Not really, but they do taper. Yeah, I wouldn't consider these balloon sleeves. They're not fitted sleeves though. They're loose and then they taper in. So I would consider this cardigan my first like real garment construction. Previous to this, my knitting experience has been more like chunky knits, kind of the projects that look handmade. I thought this was a good project for me because it looks a little bit more polished, like it could be sold at a store, maybe not mine, but someone else's could be sold at a store. And so I really appreciated just like the polished look of this cardigan. Even though it is advertised as a beginner project, I thought the two raglan stitches made it look so cute and professional. And this was advertised as a beginner pattern, which I definitely agree with. There's nothing too complicated about it. There's no short rows or anything. You increase through raglan stitches and then you separate the sleeves from the body and then you just knit the sleeves, knit the body, and then finish with 1x1 rib. So really simple. I think it's a good beginner project for anyone new to knitting, but they want to try something a little bit more I guess sophisticated. I think that's a great project to start off with. I use Drops Air combined with Drops Kid Silk, which makes this really nice fuzzy material, and you can see the halo when I hold it up to the light. I will say this isn't the softest combination. I think the Drops Air on its own is quite soft, but the mohair is on the itchier side. So this is fine for me to wear with a t-shirt under or a tank top under, but I definitely wouldn't wear this next to skin. But for the price of Drops yarn, you really can't beat it to get like this really beautiful fuzzy effect. So for my first project, you know, it's near and dear to my heart, and I have worn it a couple times. But yeah, cardigan number 7, highly recommend. And I got the buttons. Well, actually my sister got me the buttons from Joann, like these kind of resin pearl buttons, and I think they match perfectly, which made me really happy. So that is our first finished object. The next finished object I'm wearing, it is the Monday sweater by Petite Knit. This is actually my first Petite Knit pattern, well, pattern that I've finished. I have a lot of her patterns collected, but I haven't actually made or finished any of them except this one. I will say this is one of the patterns that is totally worth the hype. There's over 2,000 projects on Ravelry, and I can totally understand why. It's also a raglan construction, but there are short rows alongside the back, which make the back of the sweater slightly higher, and I think that adds such a like professional kind of store-bought look to the sweater. It was my first time doing German short rows. I was really intimidated by German short rows prior to actually doing them, but I'm here to say they're not as scary as you may think. But so you do German short rows along with the raglan increases, and then you do the same thing. You separate the arms from the body and you join the body together, and then you just knit down and then you end with ribbing. So the only modification I did was I switched from 1x1 rib to 2x2 rib. If you see my 1x1 ribbing here, it doesn't look that tidy. I think like in general 1x1 rib doesn't look tidy, so I switched it to 2x2 rib, which to me looks a whole lot neater, and I just love the look of like the thicker ribbing. The only tricky part about doing 2x2 rib is that the bind off, it's like a little bit trickier because rather than binding off in pattern, I wanted to do like a sewn bind off. So before I could do that, I switched my 2x2 rib back into 1x1 rib, and then I bound off. So if you guys know an easier way to bind off 2x2 rib, let me know because I'm still learning, and I would love to know all the tips and tricks. So the yarn that I used for this one was Cascade yarn Woolpaca. So it's a wool and alpaca blend. which I actually really like. There's a tiny bit of a halo on the sweater from the fuzziness, but not a ton. I'm just not a huge fan of holding multiple strands of yarn together. I learned that from this sweater. While it creates a really beautiful fuzzy effect, I just can't be bothered to hold more than one strand of yarn. So I love that this has a slight halo effect without having to hold an additional strand of yarn. So with this yarn, I believe it's a little bit thicker than the recommended yarn in the pattern. So I think the recommended yarn combo is going to be 21 stitches per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. And my yarn is 19 stitches per 4 inches when I measured. So I found like this online, I guess like gauge converter that I can link. But basically I entered the pattern gauge and then my yarn gauge, and then it told me what size to make. So I followed the stitch counts for an extra small, but I'm not an extra small normally. I would probably normally wear between a small and a medium, but I think using that gauge converter thing was really wonderful because this fits exactly how I would want it to. I think I have probably, I don't know, like about 7 or 8 inches of positive ease, which is what the pattern recommends. I should check that before I say that out loud. Okay, let's see. Yeah, 6 to 8 inches. Wow, I didn't make that up. Yeah, so the pattern recommends 6 to 8 inches of positive ease, which is what I got using my thicker yarn and slightly bigger needle size. I think the recommended needle size is a 4 millimeters, and I used 4.5 with my thicker yarn. And I am really actually so pleased with this yarn. I bought it on a whim, and I was planning to actually make a Sophie scarf with it, but I found that this yarn did not do well in the garter stitch pattern. Like you couldn't really see any of the details or the heathering, but when you do like a plain stockinette, you can really see all the beautiful kind of colors that are in the fiber. There's like pink and green. Okay, you can't really see any of it. It sounds like I'm making it up. I'm not making it up. I will try to insert a picture here so you can see the kind of variation in color that I am talking about. It's called Galaxy. So it's not like a true brown. It's a brown with other colors mixed in. But I find that you can see those other colors a lot better when you're knitting stockinette. So that just kind of goes to show, like, if you don't like a yarn, maybe you're just not using the right pattern like I was. So I'm really happy with the Monday sweater, and I definitely want to knit another one. Okay, so that is all my finished objects. For my next thing, I'm going to be talking about the cast-ons I have. This is not really a new cast-on. I cast this on in December. It is the Esther Vest by Petite Knit. My sister has like a really beautiful textured cable vest from Saison that she bought, and I wanted to copy her by making this vest, which has really cool texture, no cables, but these really cool diamond pattern. And I, worked on it, and I got to the point where you join the body to the front shoulder and the right shoulder, and I just kind of lost all motivation to continue this. So can someone tell me to finish this, because I'm really, really struggling too. But the textured pattern is so cool, but because you're following a chart and there's so many knits and purls, it really takes forever to just complete one row. I had to take a break from this, and I had to work on a straight stockinette sweater instead because I was just so tired of following the chart. But I really want to get back into this one. Maybe next time I will finish it, who knows. But yeah, I do love the texture. I really do. It's just such a pain to finish each row. This is also knit on 3.5 millimeter needles, so it grows so very slowly. But that is a cast on that I have. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the yarn I bought for a new project. And I bought the Sanisgarn Peer Gint, which is 100% wool yarn. It's quite expensive and it feels quite rustic, but when I started knitting with it, I just love how even the stitches look. And I don't feel like I have like the best stitch tension because I knit English style and I'm still new. but the stitches looked so tidy when I was using this yarn. So my plan with the Peer Gynt 100% wool yarn was to make the Olga Jacket, because this is the recommended yarn that they have. And I think she did like a dark plum with a cream color, and I thought I would do a dark red with a cream color. I like that the red is almost like a magenta red and not like a orange based red. Just because I don't really like the orange-based reds on my skin tone as much. But when I started knitting this and following the Olga Jacket pattern, I couldn't help but think I was giving kind of Where's Waldo. So this is what it looks like when it's knit up next to each other. Do you think that it's too Where's Waldo-y? I just am not sure. So I kind of took a break and did not continue after I looked at it a little bit longer. So this is the Olga Jacket. I really like the silhouette, like the drop shoulder cardigan style, but I just don't know if this color combo is the way to go. You can see how tidy the stitches look though, because of this yarn. It's really enjoyable to work with. I saw one person on Instagram do an Olga Jacket in just a solid color, which I thought was really beautiful. So I think maybe I will use the almond for something else and just buy more of the red and do a full red Olga Jacket, but I'm not sure if that's how I want to proceed. But yes, that is the Olga Jacket, well, the starts of an Olga Jacket. Oh, and the colors, I don't know if I talked about the colors. I got almond, yes, almond, and this one is called Rumba Red if you are interested. So I think that concludes my first knitting podcast, but I hope you liked it, and if you want to see more, please subscribe or give this video a thumbs up. Okay, bye! Thanks for watching!